So last weekend, the second of the 60th anniversary Doctor Who specials released, Wild Blue Yonder. And no one really had any idea what we were getting into with this episode. But my god, I can't say I expected that. So in this video, I'm just gonna give my thoughts on the special. Also, this is a very new channel, so if you want to help out, subscribing is really helpful, and you'd be very awesome if you did it. And yeah, let's just get into the video. So the episode starts in 1666, where we see Isaac Newton at the moment the apple fell on his head, and he discovers what mavity is. This whole opening is just so silly, and I love how the mavity thing sticks around throughout the episode. I mean, with the way it stuck around, it wouldn't surprise me if it does end up having some later relevance at some point down the line. Also, I will be unironically saying mavity instead of gravity for the time being. Also, this opening basically confirms that the Doctor and Donna have been crashing in all different places. I'm sure Big Finish will take that and make a whole series out of it. Anyway, then the TARDIS lands on the spaceship where the episode is set, and something the episode pretty much immediately does is it just completely gets rid of the TARDIS and the sonic screwdriver. And I love when episodes do this. It pretty much strips the Doctor back down to his bare elements, and now he's pretty much solely relying on his own intelligence for the entire episode. And also, the idea of something being so bad that the TARDIS runs away is a really good way of raising the stakes and giving us a vague idea of what kind of threat that they're going to be dealing with on this ship. It almost seems like the Doctor and Donna are going to get into an argument at one point, but then the Doctor quickly stops and composes himself. I really like this touch. It really does feel like he's learned from the past, and it specifically reminds me of episodes like Midnight, where the Doctor was unable to keep himself or other people under control and it nearly cost him his life. So I like that we're seeing a more emotionally mature and sensible version of the 10th Doctor here. Like, I know the differences between 10 and 14 aren't massive or anything, but there are definitely differences there, and scenes like this sort of highlight that, I think. Anyway, as for the big long corridor, I've seen a lot of people complaining about the special effects and how it looks. Like, is it just me, or does it not look that bad? Like, yeah, it doesn't look amazing or anything, it doesn't look like an MCU movie, but it's nothing that took me completely out of it. I still think it looks pretty solid. But yeah, just a common criticism I've seen of this episode as a whole is that the special effects look off. But I just don't really get it. Like, for the most part, they look fine. Or like, in the parts where they do look off, like the chase scene with the giant Doctor and Donna, like, that's meant to look off and weird and disturbing. Like, that's the point. So that's just a criticism of the episode that I just don't really get. Anyway, then we find out that this ship is on the edge of the universe, which is just such a weird thing to think about. Like, the Doctor explains it perfectly. The universe is all we know, so the idea of it being finite and it having an end is just something that's really hard to comprehend. But yeah, it's really cool. There have been episodes in the past that have dealt with similar concepts, like in The Doctor's Wife, where they go outside the universe, or Utopia, where the universe is ending, another thing that's kind of weird to try and comprehend. So the Doctor and Donna start poking around the ship. At some point they split up, and this is where things really get creepy. Like, there's the bit when Donna's just standing there, and then the Doctor comes back in the room, but then we see the Doctor still in another room, and it's just like, what's happening here? Wasn't he with Donna? And then another Donna walks into the room with the real Doctor, and that's when it clicks, and you go, oh no. And from the moment these fakes show up, even before we know they're fakes, the clues are there from the start, and they just start gradually getting more and more obvious. Like when the fake Doctor says, "Oh, we get hungry, don't we?" And then that line kicks in.
My arms are too long.
I don't know what it is. Something about that line it just really freaks me out in this context. I honestly think the line, "My arms are too long," will be an iconic line in the Doctor Who fandom, among the likes of "Are you my mummy?" or "Who turned out the lights?" It's a very Moffat style line, and that's what I love about it. But yeah, a lot of the bodily abnormalities we see from these beings just really creeps me out. And that's another one of my favorite things about this episode. It's so creepy, and that's something I've missed so much from Doctor Who. I feel like going back to the Smith era, the whole concept of Doctor Who episodes being pure nightmare fuel kind of faded out. Like in the Eccleston and Tennant eras, you had plenty of episodes that would just traumatize you as a child. But that was something that I feel like was kind of lacking from the Smith era onwards. Like in the Smith era, the only episodes that truly scared me were the end of the Almost People, when the Jenny Ganger becomes a big monster, and also Night Terrors. God, Night Terrors terrified me. And as for the Capaldi era, Listen did kind of creep me out, but the only Capaldi era episode that properly scared me was Under the Lake and Before the Flood. And there haven't really been any Doctor Who episodes since then that have properly scared me, up until Wild Blue Yonder. I genuinely just felt really unnerved and scared throughout this episode, and that's something I've really missed from Doctor Who. And I really hope we see more stuff like this. Anyway, after a while, the Doctor and Donna are separated, and then they come across the No Things, I think I've seen some people calling them. I don't think they have like a specific name, but I'm sure they'll get one in due time. I'll call them the No Things for the time being. And just this scene as a whole, I absolutely love, especially the bits with the Doctor talking to the fake Donna. There are mentions of the Timeless Child and the Flux, and I think it was handled really well. You know, regardless of your opinions on the Timeless Child or the Flux, I feel like we can all agree they could have been handled a little bit better. Like, you know, the Timeless Child, the Doctor is not a Time Lord. The Doctor doesn't know where they came from, who they are. Of course that's going to mess them up, but I feel like that's something that wasn't really explored in the Whittaker era. Same with the Flux, a big devastating event that destroyed half the universe. You know, great, those are both really impactful events to have, but I feel like we didn't really get to see that, and we didn't really get to see how those things affected the Doctor. So it's great that they're being explored now. And the Doctor's reaction to opening up about how the Timeless Child and the Flux have affected him, only to find out that he's been talking to a fake Donna, and how that affects him, I think is really well done. That scene where we just see the Doctor's true built-up rage, and he just starts hitting the wall and having a full-on meltdown, I absolutely love it. I think David Tennant as a whole genuinely gives one of the best performances of Doctor Who in general. He portrays all the different sides of the Doctor really well. He does the evil no-thing impersonating the Doctor really well. Same with Catherine Tate. This episode, pretty much being just the two of them, really allows them both to shine. And my god, they shine. There's also that brilliant scene where the Doctor and Donna are separated from the no-things, and they see the captain of the ship just floating around in orbit around the ship, and the Doctor's just there needing to figure out what happened, why the captain killed herself. And he is piecing it together, he is working it out, but at the same time, so are the no-things. So they find out that that little robot that they saw at the start of the episode is actually going to set off a bomb that will blow up the spaceship. So they all just start running back towards the robot. And this was just great. The bit where the Doctor just completely decks the no-thing Donna. That had me laughing, I won't lie. But it looks like the no-things aren't going to get there in time to disarm the robot. So the TARDIS rematerializes, and the Doctor goes to escape, but not before getting Donna. But which is the real Donna? So then the Doctor gets what he thinks is the right Donna, but... Doctor, come back! You've got the wrong one! Oh my god, this had me on the edge of my seat. When it turned out he got the wrong Donna, oh my god, my heart sank. I had not felt that stressed watching Doctor Who in so long. And it was so brilliantly done, because I genuinely thought, for a moment, oh my god, Donna's gonna die right here. And that would just be dark. That would be the darkest thing in New Who ever. That's like Children of Earth level dark, dude. And it seems like I'm not the only person who was genuinely worried that Donna was actually going to die for a second. It seems like a lot of people also thought it too, which just shows brilliant writing on Russell's part. So, they escape. And on the TARDIS trip back home, Donna asks the Doctor what exactly happened to him in the 15 years they'd been apart. Well, 15 years for Donna, thousands of years for the Doctor. And my mind was just flooded with all the brilliant and horrifying things that have happened in the last 15 years. It really did put into perspective just how much has happened and how much the Doctor has changed and how much they've gone through. But I can't help but wonder, does Donna actually remember to some degree what happened to the Doctor? Because she says she doesn't remember, but as we saw from the No-Thing Donna, those memories are still in Donna's head somewhere. So does she remember and she's just trying to get the Doctor to talk about it more consensually? I don't know. Anyway, then they arrive back home and they see Wilf. Oh, I love this bit. This is such a brilliant end to a brilliant episode. I mean, come on. It's Bernard Cribbins. It was just so amazing watching this scene. And I'm so glad I got to film it before Bernard Cribbins passed away. There were plans for him to have a role in The Giggle, but unfortunately, they weren't able to get any of that done before he had passed. Which is a shame, but I'm so glad we got to see Wilf one final time. But anyway, then the episode ends with planet Earth seemingly being in chaos. You know, presumably this was all caused by the Toymaker, and we're gonna find out what happens next episode, and my god, I'm excited, but I'm dreading it too, because I don't want the Doctor and Donna to go again. After this episode, which was such a in-depth character piece on the Doctor and Donna, I'm just not ready for them to go again. I mean, I'm still super excited for Ncuti Gatwa. He's gonna be great. I'm so hyped for that. It's just gonna hurt so much letting the Doctor and Donna go again. So, the episode ends, and my god, what more can I say? This episode was brilliant. It was beyond brilliant. I genuinely think that this episode is going to be revered among the likes of Midnight and Heaven Sent as one of the greatest episodes of the entire show. Maybe there's a little bit of recency bias here, I don't know, but I genuinely consider it one of the best episodes of the entire show. But yeah, it was just so good. It had such a great amount of just creepiness and unsettling and fear. The pacing was near perfect, a massive improvement over the Star Beast in terms of pacing. It really made me feel so many emotions. It handled the Timeless Child and the Flux incredibly well. Honestly, I just can't really think of any significant flaws about it. It was just all around an incredibly solid episode, and I love it. You know, when I think about Doctor Who, there are three main types of episodes. There's the light-hearted, silly, fun adventure episode. There's an episode that absolutely traumatizes you and is just incredibly deep and or horrifying. And then there's the emotionally devastating series finale. Honestly, I feel like that's what these three specials are going to be. You know, we've had the silly, light-hearted adventure, we've had the terrifying episode, so I think the giggle's going to have a really big impact, and it's going to be really emotionally devastating. But honestly, this episode has just left me more hyped than ever for the giggle. But yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts on the episode. Feel free to let me know your own thoughts in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.